Everyone knows the big picture of World War II, the battles, the heroes, the leaders. But the war was also filled with stories so bizarre, so shocking, and so unbelievable that they sound like they were made up. From a bear that fought alongside soldiers to exploding chocolate bars meant to kill Winston Churchill, from a 12-year-old sailor to a pilot who surrendered 29 years after the war ended. These are the facts that history books often leave out. Welcome to 50 insane World War II facts that will shock you. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you will see the war in a completely different light. Fact 1. The war before the war. In the 1930s, the world was still scarred by World War I, but the future Axis powers were already planning. Imperial Japan had been building its empire, and in 1937 it launched the Sino-Japanese War, a conflict that would continue until the end of World War II. The world watched, but few intervened. Fact 2. The origin of Nazi. The term Nazi wasn't invented by the party itself. They actually preferred to call themselves National Socialists or even Nassos. The word Nazi was coined by journalist Conrad Hayden, who derived it from a Bavarian word meaning simple-minded or stupid. Somehow, the Nazis didn't seem to notice. Fact 3. The swastika was once a symbol of peace. The swastika was originally an ancient religious symbol representing fertility and good fortune, used in civilizations from Greece to India. It comes from the Sanskrit word for hooked cross. The Nazis appropriated it, permanently tainting its meaning. Fact 4. Radar by accident. British engineer Robert Watson Watt was tasked with investigating whether a death ray could destroy enemy aircraft with radio waves. He concluded it wasn't possible, but his research led to the development of radar, which helped Britain detect German planes and U-boats. Fact 5. The phony war. After Britain declared war on Germany in September 1939, there was surprisingly little fighting. The Royal Air Force dropped propaganda leaflets over Germany instead of bombs. This period became known as the phony war. Fact 6. Chamberlain's gamble Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain is remembered for appeasing Hitler. But in 1938, after signing the Munich Agreement, he returned to Britain declaring he had secured peace in our time. Hitler's invasion of Poland shattered that illusion, and Chamberlain was replaced by Winston Churchill. Fact 7. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. In August 1939, Hitler and Stalin signed a non-aggression pact. Secretly, they agreed to divide Poland and Eastern Europe between them. Hitler would betray the pact just 2 years later by invading the Soviet Union. Fact 8. Poland's devastation. When Germany and the Soviet Union invaded Poland in September 1939, the Poles fought bravely, but they lost 70,000 soldiers and over 500,000 were taken captive. The Soviets lost fewer than 1,000 men on their front. Fact 9. The Winter War. The Soviet Union invaded Finland in November 1939, expecting an easy victory. But the Finns, using their knowledge of the snowy terrain, fought back fiercely. The Soviets were expelled from the League of Nations, but eventually forced Finland to sign a peace treaty. Fact 10. The fall of France. In May 1940, Germany launched its invasion of France through Luxembourg and Belgium, bypassing the Maginot Line. France fell in just 6 weeks, leading to one of the largest refugee crises in history. Fact 11. The miracle of Dunkirk. With German troops advancing fast and Allied forces trapped on the French coast, the British launched a massive evacuation. Over 8 days, more than 300,000 soldiers were rescued by a fleet of over 800 vessels, including many civilian boats. It became known as the Miracle of Dunkirk. Fact 12. 8 million refugees. By 1940, France, Belgium, and the Netherlands had all fallen. More than 8 million civilians fled their homes, seeking refuge in Allied or neutral nations. Many wound up in displaced person camps. Fact 13. Hitler versus the Pope. Hitler was enraged that Catholic schools in Germany didn't display his portrait alongside Jesus. He consulted with a general about occupying Vatican City and kidnapping Pope Pius XII. The general was so shocked, he tipped off the Italians instead. Fact 14. The Max Heiliger account. The Nazis looted money, gold, and jewelry from Jewish people they arrested. To hide their crimes, the SS created a bank account under the fictitious name Max Heiliger, allowing them to transfer assets undetected. Fact 15. The counterfeit scheme. In 1939, Hitler ordered a scheme to cause hyperinflation in Britain by flooding the economy with counterfeit pound notes. Prisoners at a concentration camp produced $132 million worth of fake bills worth over $6 billion today. Fact 16. The Degenerate Art Exhibition. Hitler considered modern art degenerate. In 1937, he held an exhibition of banned art featuring over 650 works. It attracted far more visitors than the official Nazi art galleries. Fact 17. The perfect Aryan baby. Hitler wanted a symbol of the perfect Aryan baby. Propaganda Minister Joseph Goebbels chose a photograph submitted by Hans Ballen, an anti-Nazi activist who submitted a photo of a Jewish child as sabotage. The girl's family had to flee to Latvia. Fact 18. Charlie Chaplin's satire Hollywood studios refused to fund an anti-Nazi satire. Charlie Chaplin funded it himself. His film, The Great Dictator, portrayed Hitler as a buffoon. Hitler reportedly was not pleased. Fact 19. Painted cows. During the blackout, farmers painted their cows with white stripes to prevent car accidents in the dark. The blackout caused more civilian deaths than many expected. Fact 20. The RAF's advantage. The Battle of Britain was the first major military campaign fought entirely in the air. Britain's Dowding system created a reporting network that allowed faster response to attacks. The RAF lost over 1,500 aircraft and 500 aircrew, but Germany lost hundreds more planes and over 3,000 dead. Fact 21. Operation Barbarossa. On June 22, 1941, Hitler launched the largest invasion in history, Operation Barbarossa. He expected a quick victory. Instead, the Soviet Union inflicted massive casualties on the Germans. 80% of all German casualties came from the Eastern Front. Fact 22. The first American casualty. The first U.S. soldier to die in World War II wasn't killed in combat. Robert M. Losey, an aeronautical meteorologist, was killed in a bombing raid in Norway in April 1940, over a year and a half before Pearl Harbor. Fact 23. The 45th Infantry Division's swastika. The 45th Infantry Division wore a patch featuring an eagle atop a swastika, a Native American symbol of good luck. They replaced it with a Thunderbird in 1939, just before the war began. Fact 24. Hitler's train. Hitler traveled on a private train called America. When American forces began targeting it, the name was changed to Brandenburg in 1943. Fact 25. Liberty Steak. To avoid the German-sounding word hamburger, Americans renamed it Liberty Steak. It was the same dish, just with a patriotic name. Fact 26. Operation Valkyrie. In 1944, a group of German officers plotted to assassinate Hitler. Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg placed a bomb at Hitler's compound. A last-minute change in seating arrangements meant Hitler survived. The conspirators were executed. Fact 27. The parachuting Nazi. In 1941, Hitler's deputy Rudolf Hess parachuted into Scotland, hoping to negotiate Britain's surrender. He was arrested instead. He remained a prisoner for the rest of the war and was sentenced to life in prison at Nuremberg. Fact 28. The Coca-Cola Connection. Coca-Cola set up bottling plants in North Africa to supply troops. They shipped millions of bottles to soldiers across the Mediterranean, cementing the brand's place in American culture. Fact 29. The bear that fought Polish forces adopted an orphaned bear named Wojtek. He became a morale booster and helped transport ammunition at the Battle of Monte Cassino. He was officially enlisted as a private and lived out his days as a hero in a Scottish zoo. Fact 30. Hitler's nephew William Patrick Stewart Houston was Hitler's nephew. He grew up in Liverpool, emigrated to the U.S., and served in the U.S. Navy, fighting against his uncle's regime. He was awarded the Purple Heart after being wounded in combat. Fact 31. The Ghost Army. The U.S. deployed the Ghost Army, a 1,100-man unit that staged elaborate deceptions using inflatable tanks, fake radio transmissions, and pre-recorded sound effects. They fooled the Nazis into overestimating Allied strength. Fact 32. Mad Jack Churchill, Mad Jack. Churchill went into battle armed with a longbow, bagpipes, and a Scottish broadsword. He captured 42 German soldiers with only his sword. When asked why, he said, "Any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed." Fact 33. The Exploding Rats, Britain's Special Operations Executive, created dead rats stuffed with explosives. They were left near enemy boilers, hoping someone would throw them on the fire. The Germans caught wind of the plan and wasted resources searching for them. Fact 34. The inflatable tanks. To fool German bombers, the Allies created inflatable fake tanks. They were laid on the ground in large numbers to be spotted from the skies. Fact 35. The chocolate bomb plot. The Germans created exploding chocolate bars, aiming to smuggle them into Winston Churchill's dining room. Churchill also had his cigars tested for poison. Fact 36. The Stoned Pigeon Project. The U.S. trained pigeons to sit inside bombs and steer them by pecking at a target screen. The pigeons were fed cannabis to calm them. The project was canceled. Fact 37. The German eating sharks Britain's Ministry of Information spread a rumor that Australia had supplied 200 sharks to roam the English Channel and eat any Germans who fell in. It was completely false, but effective propaganda. Fact 38. Hitler's plan for female hormones. Allied planners considered lacing Hitler's vegetables with female hormones to make him less aggressive. Another plan involved dropping pornography on his bunker. Fact 39. The Fart-Propelled Hero. A bizarre comic book emerged in 1942 featuring the Blitzkrieg Beast, a hero whose weapon was a fart that could incapacitate Nazis. The concept was satirical, but gained an underground following. Fact 40. Hitler's drug use. Hitler was taking a vast number of drugs, including cocaine and extract from Bulgarian peasants' feces, prescribed for his chronic flatulence. This makes some of the Allied plots almost redundant. Fact 41. The 12-year-old sailor. Calvin Graham was only 12 when he enlisted in the U.S. Navy, forging his mother's signature. He served on the USS South Dakota, saw action at Guadalcanal, and won a Bronze Star and Purple Heart. When the Navy discovered his age, he was dishonorably discharged. In 1978, it was upgraded to honorable. Fact 42. The Japanese holdouts. Many Japanese soldiers didn't know the war was over. Second Lieutenant Hiru Onoda surrendered in 1974, 29 years after the war ended, only after his commanding officer personally relieved him of his duty. Fact 43. The Night Witches. The Night Witches were an all-female Soviet bomber regiment. They would idle their engines near targets and glide silently, dropping bombs. The Germans likened the sound to broomsticks, giving them their nickname. Fact 44. Life expectancy of a flamethrower operator. The average life expectancy of a flamethrower operator in combat was less than 10 minutes. Fact 45. Normandy sand. Today, 4% of the sand on Normandy Beach is made up of shrapnel from D-Day that is broken down over time. Fact 46. The pilot who fought for both sides. American paratrooper Joseph Barrel fought for both the U.S. and the Soviet Union. Captured in Normandy, he escaped from a POW camp, joined the Red Army, and liberated the camp he had just escaped from. Fact 47. The Danish rescue. When the Nazis began cracking down on Jews in Denmark, the Danish people smuggled the vast majority of their Jewish population to neutral Sweden, saving thousands of lives. Fact 48. The heroism of Sergeant Edmonds. When captured, American troops were ordered to identify Jewish soldiers. Master Sergeant Roderick Edmonds told the Nazis they were all Jews. The Nazis were scared off by the threat of war crimes prosecution. Edmonds saved as many as 300 people. Fact 49. 80% of Soviet males born in 1923. 80% of Soviet males born in 1923 did not survive the war. Fact 50. The deadliest conflict. World War II claimed approximately 75 million lives, more than the entire population of Great Britain today. World War II was a conflict of unimaginable scale and horror, but hidden within its pages are stories of absurdity, irony, and humanity. From a bear who became a soldier to a Nazi whose own nephew fought against him, from exploding chocolate to a 12-year-old sailor, the war was more than just battles and leaders. It was a testament to the extremes of human behavior. Both the best and the worst of humanity were on display. The lesson? History is rarely as simple as it seems. The truth is often stranger than fiction. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and let us know in the comments. Which fact shocked you the most?